Hello and welcome to the Pixelated Realms Gamescast Holiday Special, your guide through the digital landscape, untangling the mysteries of your favorite titles and discussing the latest and greatest in video game fun. I'm your host, Alex Lerno. Alongside me is my brother Tyler and our resident sneakerhead, Dustin.
A sneakerhead indeed. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
So this is for Emily. She wanted us to be holiday themed, so busted out my SV ugly sweater concepts that I only wear during December for obvious reasons. But yeah, happy almost Christmas. Or
Happy holidays to everyone around. And just so I'm not feeling left out, I am repping my Hogwarts pajamas or my Gryffindor pajamas, which technically Harry Potter is a Christmas movie. Just throwing that.
Oh, starting with a controversy.
Well, in the first movie, there's a very distinct Christmas scene.
Does that make it a Christmas movie?
We'll
never know.
Yeah.
I mean, they always do have an emphasis on Christmas in basically every film because it's during the school year, right? So every movie does, and there's always like some big thing around the holidays. So I
emphasis is that Harry doesn't go home. It's just the emphasis is Harry doesn't want to go back.
We'll say
crappy in-laws or
I will say, though, I tend to watch Harry Potter over the Christmas holiday. So, does that make it a Christmas film or not? I don't know. But I do think of it during that time period and want to watch it.
It's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, than Die Hard, definitely. But it's funny. It's just funny to me because, I saw something the other day on the internet that was just like, well, Lord of the Rings has elves, so technically it's a Christmas movie. It's like, God, shoot me in the face.
Not the same kind of elves.
That's a bridge crossed. That's too far.
That's a bridge crossed too far.
Legolas making toys. He's like making toys. He's like, motherfucker, I'm a goddamn prince.
Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? Reindeer, sir. Fog.
We're not going to make it. We have Rudolph. Well, today is our holiday special, so we're going to be doing things a little bit different, but not too different. We are going to be talking about what we are playing. We are going to be talking about the Steam Winter Sale a little bit, and then we're just going to answer questions from the community because we have a lot of good write-ins this year, and a lot of them are holiday related, so we're excited to go over that. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. If you would like to show your support, the best way that you could do that is by going to pixelatedrealms.org/Patreon and subscribing to our Patreon. It is absolutely free. It is the best way you can show your support because that is where we post our news, our updates, anything that is official announcements is on there, and that is how we want people to kind of consume that. So if you go to pixelatedrealms.org/Patreon, we'd be very, very appreciative. And hopefully, in this next coming year with some new changes, you'll see a lot of cool announcements and any polls and any questions that we post there. That's where we look. So go ahead and, check that out. All right. Now, what are you guys playing? It's the holiday season. We got a lot of time. It's a break, vacation time. What have you guys been up to?
I'll take this one this morning. So, thank goodness for the holidays. I've finally gotten a little bit of a break, which is something I don't get a lot. And I've been ADDing my way across a whole variety of games, but I seem to be landing blessedly back on Star Wars Outlaws. And I just gotta say, over the last couple of days, I've put in, quite a few hours, and I'm just so impressed with that game. It is just a perfect Star. In my opinion, in a lot of ways, it's a perfect Star Wars game, and it really encompasses what it's like to be a smuggler, to be that outlaw on the edge of the galaxy. You might as well just call it like a Han Solo simulator because it's just really fun. If you were doubting whether you would enjoy that game or not, I really do recommend you pick it up. It is on sale right now because all Ubisoft games are on sale on Steam. And it's improved quite a lot since the release, I would say. So if you had some trepidations on release, there's definitely been some improvement. But yeah, I've been kind of exploring. There's I don't know if we call it a DLC, but they call it a story pack. But there's a new story pack where you go meet Lando Calrissian. He teaches you some Zabak, and you end up going and joining a Zabak tournament on this interstellar starship that's constantly in hyperspace to avoid criminal charges. So yeah, it's been really exciting. I really think this is a must play for any Star Wars fans. And then I will say, in typical Ubisoft fashion, this is so much better on a controller than it is on mouse and keyboard.
Awesome. Yeah, I second that. I mean, Star Wars Outlaws is such a fun game, and I've been playing it too. I'm not as far as you are, but boy, I would even say it's almost like a cozy game for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not like doesn't fall into that typical category, but like just because it's so, I'm gonna say like I think we've talked about this like a lot in the past, but kind of like it's kind of predictable and like the game loop and stuff like that, and so it's very like comforting to play for me because it's not going to be too hard. I know what I'm going to expect. You kind of jump in, you do your little mission, live in the Star Wars universe, which is exactly what I'm like looking for in this kind of a game. It's just kind of like like you said, it's kind of like a Star Wars simulator a little bit. And I really like enjoy that about it. It's not trying to be Jedi Survivor, which is a fantastic game that I love, but a completely different style, right? Like, or even, like Knights of the Republic stuff, another 10 out of 10 game, but totally different vibe. Like this one is just kind of like, what is it like to be in Star Wars universe? Because to me, right, like the whole thing,
right,
as a human, right, and like as a non-imperial, because that's kind of like the thing is like everybody in Star Wars is poor because the Empire has kind of screwed everybody, and so you
siphoned and drained all the planets.
Yeah, exactly, and so they're forced to become like criminals.
On the wrong side.
Either join or die, right? And so that's kind of like what the game is you're basically just kind of like a normal person in Star Wars world. You're not a Jedi, you're not anything, and you're forced to become this thief, which is just very cool.
There's a lot of I mean, as everyone who watches our podcast knows, we're pretty big Star Wars nerds, and obviously I'm a huge Star Wars lore fan. And there's just so many things sprinkled into this game that just make me so happy. Like I was doing a mission where you basically end up helping the rebellion, and you do a few of these missions, and so it feels great. But it's also really hilarious how the main character reacts because they're like, "Hey, you're helping the rebellion, blah blah blah," and she's just like, every time I run into you guys, it's all about me, the rebellion. Gosh, you guys are so full of yourself and selfish, and I'm like, she's right. Like they are kind of self-righteous pricks a little bit when you think about it. And so but then also like you'll pick up these little things. You'll just be sitting in a cantina, and there's some really cool cantinas. I've been taking pictures, and it'll be like, oh, did you hear about Scarif? No, what's Scarif? Oh, I heard it was destroyed. Yeah, but don't say anything. It's a secret, and I'm like, oh, they're talking about Rogue One.
So cool.
Like that is so cool, and so just like the little story beats in there, meeting Lando Calrissian, like these things to me just are they're just really, I don't know, great for Star Wars fans. And then I will say, just as a point of fun, they added in a Boba Fett costume choice for Cave S.
Really?
And it is, I will not ever, I can't take it off, basically. It's not, you don't look identical to Boba Fett. It's her clothing in a Boba Fett color scheme, and it looks great. But also, you have Boba Fett's helmet on your speeder, and you can turn your ship into the colors of the Slave One. So it's just like, I'm just like running around kind of looking like a girl Boba Fett, and I'm just so happy about it.
Now, okay, that is awesome. I didn't know that. Is that a new pack? I gotta go and check that out.
Yeah, it's part of the new cosmetic, yeah.
Oh, dang. I gotta get on that right now. You know what else we've also been playing? And I'm really happy to see that you guys jumped in, was Delta Force.
Delta Force.
So this is a free-to-play game, and I can't remember I think I've talked about it a little bit in the past episodes, but it's kind of like a Battlefield-esque, strategic shooter game, and I'm loving it. It's a free-to-play. It's by Tencent. It's scratching all the itches for me. Call of Duty this year, Call of Duty is different. It's like a very tactical, you versus like one-on-one or very, 5v5 or whatever, very small maps. This is like a huge map, much more strategic. You're calling in like airstrikes and stuff like that. But then on top of that, you also have this mode called Operation, which is kind of like Tarkov, where it's one of those like extraction shooters, which I'm also really enjoying. And like I said, it's free to play. So it's like super awesome. There's no risk if you don't like it. And we've been really enjoying it. We've been playing it. We've been jumping into both modes and having a really good time. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely have some thoughts on it, but Dustin, what do you think about Delta Force so far?
I've really enjoyed it a ton. So for Battlefield fans that might be watching, for the comparison, so one of the modes is basically Conquest, straight up like Battlefield Conquest. You have attacking and defending, and you go and you take over 2 points on the map, and then once those points are captured by the attacking team, those map shifts back, and then you keep shifting back until you get to the main base, and then if you take that over, you win. So basically conquest. And then if anyone here has played 2142, the newest Battlefield game, Operations is very similar to Hazard Zone. Hazard Zone is like a seek and extract mode in the game. So, it's taking a lot out of Battlefield. And Battlefield's not the first one, the Hazard Zone. Hazard Zone was inspired by other games like Tarkov and a modern shooter version
Division.
of
what's
the other game we've been playing that's just like this fucking
Great War
the
Zone?
Hunt.
Hunt Showdown. Yeah, it's just like, a modern military version of Hunt Showdown. So yeah, I've played those two modes with you guys. They've been tons of fun. I'm really enjoying it a ton. And like you said, it's because it's free. That's also great for me because I don't really like to buy games that much at this point. I'm just so used to getting free games that it's hard for me to go spend $70.
Poor Dustin.
I know.
Oh,
the struggle. But hey, it's been back to reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig it. So I'm looking forward to us playing a ton more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll share my thoughts because that's why we started this podcast. So I'm enjoying it
We
so
appreciate
far.
that.
I think, yeah, thank you. I'm not here to not share my thoughts. Generally speaking, as everyone knows, I'm enjoying the new Call of Duty. So Alex had to convince me to get over to Delta Force, but I'm always open to trying a new game. That being said, extraction shooters are a genre of game I've kind of been very opposed to since their inception, just because it's a very high risk, low reward style of gameplay. I would compare it similar to battle royales, right? Or battle royales, when you get first place, it feels freaking awesome. But the amount of waiting, loading, gearing up in a battle royale makes up the majority of the time frame. So I think for me personally, I struggle with them because it feels like it's 99% prep, 1% gameplay, when I would rather it be a little bit less lopsided. But I gotta give Delta Force some props. So, as Alex mentioned, there's the operations style mode, right, which is very extraction shooter. The one thing I do like about it is there's a few things. So first and foremost, when you get ready, you have to sit there and prepare your loadout, which is similar to other extraction shooters. What are you taking in that you could possibly lose? In this one, they give you a variety of recommendations as well as free options that you can use to go into the game with instead of having to risk your most important stuff. So some of those small quality of life things definitely make it easier for me to jump in. Another thing that I enjoy is it's when you do drop into these operations, you're not going in just to go in. You are pretty much, no matter what, you should be following these, what are they called? They're not contracts. It was agreements or something.
Missions,
yeah, I'd call them missions, but
missions, right? So you accept these sort of missions where I'll say, drop into this operation zone, which it'll be, just for those who don't know, will be NPCs and a couple of real players. And you need to go and identify this piece of intel or whatever. You go do a mission and then you extract. So the fact that I'm going in for a very specific reason and I'm not just going in to see what I can find is very positive for me as well, because I don't want to risk all of my gear for searching the area, right?
yeah.
So I do like that. Yeah. So, I mean, as far as my experience, I don't have a lot of experience with these extraction shooters, but they've been doing a good job so far. Hopping over to the warfare mode, which is just our typical, I mean, it really does feel like Battlefield. I just got to share that the time to kill is really low. So there's a lot of spawning in and just getting sniped. So I don't know how they fix that. I don't know if they want to fix that, but I got to admit that mode hasn't been as fun for me because I don't feel like I can make an impact with what I'm given. But regardless, the shooting still feels good. The maps still feel pretty good. I like what I'm feeling. I think it's pretty much, for a free-to-play game, for a game that doesn't have 10 years of history, I think it's got a really good chance.
Yeah, I mean, if I spent $30 on this game, I'd still feel like it was worth the money, every penny. I think for me, the difference, going into the operations mode, I wish there was a little bit more, human teams. We typically run into one, but if you're very calculated in what you're doing, especially if you spawn close to where you're supposed to be going, you can basically get in, do the mission, and extract without seeing anyone, and you're just running into NPCs. which frankly is why I think the NPCs are probably there, because otherwise you would be able to just kind of go through without being ever running into another team. I think that's one thing I like about Hunt Showdown that's a little bit different, is that like you almost always running into a team in Hunt, like, and going to kill the mob and Hunt, like you have to kill it, which is very difficult. It's very noisy. And then it takes like 2 or 3 minutes to banish the monster, and everyone knows that's happening. And you can pretty much traverse the map probably in 5. So like anyone on the map can pretty much get to you if they want to while that banishment is happening, or at least very close. And I like that. Like, so like similar experience for us and Delta Force is when I went and picked up the Mandel Brick, right? Like I just rushed over, picked it up, and like that put that big target on us. We had a team chase us down, and like, you know, while we just ended up like, we'd already got the Mandel Brick, so we just were like, fuck it, we just want to extract. So we, you know, try to outrun them. I still like that experience a little bit better because I want to engage with the real players, and kind of reminds me of like friends playing like PUBG. PUBG is the only game I've ever played where I played it as if I was actually in the game. It was like, be as careful, stealthy, only engage when absolutely necessary. Like that was like as if I was actually a real human and my life was on the line in this game, because that's how I was playing it, right? But I have other friends who are like, let's just drop into like the hottest zone, you know? And so I feel like I'd like to see a little more balance between the two of what, like, yeah, I'd like to be like careful and strategic, but I'd also like to be engaging with real players a little more. So maybe if they added like 1 or 2 more teams dropping in on in an operations match, I think that could add just the right amount to make it where you're always going to run into at least one team.
He thinks though that this game, they almost don't, given the way that Delta Force kind of pans out, I don't think they want you to always, I don't want to say they don't want you to always run into humans, but there's a part of me that thinks that, yeah, that they don't want it to always be 100% of the time, kind of.
Well, it's something let me see, hold on. I think that it's there's like different like areas, different raid areas that you could drop into. And so we're playing in the easiest one, and there's also difficulty levels. So when you, as you get further along, you unlock more difficulty levels. And I think the higher the difficulty, the more players are in the lobby. So we were on easy mode on the easiest area. So I think they purposely keep it pretty barren. Yeah. And then later on,
there's the game, right?
Exactly. And then later on, when you get in the more difficult areas, they put more people in them, and they also make the NPCs harder and stuff like that. So I think that is just the way that we've been playing it, and that we haven't gotten to the harder difficulty yet. But
that's fair.
It's interesting too, like hearing you guys talk, because one of the things that I like so much about this game is how flexible it is for playstyle. Is that, like, you know, we all have kind of different play styles, but we can all enjoy different aspects of this game. Now that there's something to be said about that. And the extraction mode is definitely something that is nice, because I have this like weird love-hate relationship with extraction mode games, because like it seems like on paper that's like the most me version of a game, because I love that military tactical like high risk kind of shit. But all of the ones that have been out previous to this, I've just hated, because the quality of life is just not there. This is the closest one so far that I've really like enjoyed, because of some of the quality of life things, like the missions, like you were saying. Like in Tarkov, they just like throw you in this game and they're like, find the fun, good luck.
Yeah.
But in this one, they're like, you have this like base you're trying to build up, you have missions, you actually feel like you're kind of like, there's a direction. They're very liberal with giving you new gear. So it's like, if you feel like you got wiped out, it's like, yeah, maybe you lost some good stuff, but it's like really easy to get more. Maybe not as good as what you had, but you know, at least it's something. So it's very like, even though it's like high risk, you're kind of like, all right, well, I can.
It's also like very low risk as far as like, since it's free to play, right? I mean, you could download this game, try it, and throw it out, or you could play 100 hours and you're not really, you know, losing much.
Yeah. And yeah. I think, I mean, so Ralph, you know, Ralph and I are going to probably stream this pretty regularly, because we want to do operations. And of course, whenever you guys are available, you guys are going to probably jump on with us. So I'm excited to kind of, you know, try and do the harder stuff, because one, we suck, so it's going to probably be just a trade wreck. But two, like, we're only like, I've probably played, I don't know, 15 hours or whatever of the operation, and we're still only in the first level of like 10, and we haven't even tried the other harder difficulties. So like, there's a lot of content here, for people, and I'm really excited to really kind of dig into it and see what some of the details of the game are. And like you were saying, Tyler, too, is I think we're still technically in preseason. It's technically in a beta right now. They haven't even officially dropped the official season. So there's a season pass, which I did buy because we've been playing it so much, but it's technically like the preseason pass. And so this is kind of like them like figuring out the servers and figuring out the balance and stuff like that. So I do see that like, when they officially drop the game, which I think is supposed to be in early next year, is when they're going to do like season 1, like official season 1. I think they're going to drop a big patch as well, which will hopefully fix a lot of the issues. So like, and then I forgot to mention too, there's a campaign that they haven't even released yet. Because
I was going to shout out the campaign, yeah.
Yeah, so it's literally the movie Black Hawk Down is this. And so I'm really excited to see that because it's going to be, I'm hoping, I mean, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really interesting. It's going to be, I love like historical recreations in first-person shooters, so it's also been enough years, I think, that they can do this.
Yeah.
I'm really interested.
And
and
just so you know, by the way,
Mogadishu. I was like, why does that not sound right? I was like, it's the Battle of Mogadishu.
And by the way, this is you made an interesting comment about like not Delta Force not having a history. Well, actually, this is not the first Delta Force. The original. This is a re-release. Well, not re-release. This is a reimagining of the original Delta Force game, which was released in 1998. So this is actually
exist still. Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
it's like Half-Life, like
yeah. I mean, it's an old game, but it's an old IP. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun.
It's not multiplayer, but yeah.
Yeah, do it on stream. But I think we've talked enough about that. I do want to really quickly talk about Indiana Jones again because I've been playing a lot of Indiana Jones.
Cool.
God, the game just keeps getting better. Like,
wow.
I when I first started playing it, I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, I like it. I like the first person. Like, it feels really good. But the more I've been playing it, the more I'm into this world, and the more I feel like Indiana Jones. And like, I just got to in this part in the Vatican where I don't want to spoil any like big spoilers, but I got into like what I'll kind of consider like a dungeon. Kind of like think of it like typical Indiana Jones, like inside of a trap-filled area. And like I felt like Indiana Jones, and God, it felt so cool to go through that moment. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I get it. I get this game now, and it feels good.
And nails the exploration.
It nails it. Like, I mean, it just feels good. Like, if you're into that kind of thing, you also have to realize, like, wrap your head around the fact though that this is not a shooter game. And I think for some reason, people are like, oh, it's a first person, it has to be a shooter game. No.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah. Just because it's a first person game does not mean it's a shooter. It's an immersive adventure game. You're just in first person, and it's really good. You do have guns, but you almost never use them. I don't think I've shot the gun one time. So it's like, I don't know. It's just really fun.
One thing, both about Star Wars Outlaws and about this Indiana Jones game, take your time, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a game. These are games that literally get better when you take your time. In Star Wars Outlaws, for example, I've been on the last mission for hours, and I literally didn't even realize it because I'm just sitting there trying to get upgrades, just trying to like have fun. Same with Indiana Jones. If you see something, explore it. Just use your camera, look around, like take a breath, drink some water, because that's don't just try to rush and beat it, because you will not enjoy the game in the way it's meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah, I totally agree. Dustin, you got anything you've been doing, or we move on to Steam Store?
I mean, I've been doing the same thing with you guys with Delta Force, so yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, seems fair. All right, Ty, you want to talk about the Steam sale?
Yeah, let's talk about the Steam sale a little bit. So we'll just want to shout out to our viewers some great sales that are up. Obviously, Steam sales have an incredible amount of sales, so pretty much anything is on sale right now. But a few shout outs would be all the Ubisoft games are on sale for a pretty high amount. We got Stellaris and other Paradox interactive games going from like 60 to 90%. We have a huge deal on Warhammer games, if you're with me on that. Just about everything is on sale. I'm almost trying to find something that's not on sale. If it came out in the last 2 months, that's
Mass Effect. I'm on here right now. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition, normally $60, is $4.79.
And that's 100 hours of pure 10 out of 10 fun for $4 or whatever you said.
The entire Metro series, which is 3 games, normally $84, is $6.96. Like,
no excuses to have fun this spring.
God, I own these games on the PlayStation, and I think for $5 I'm gonna buy Mass Effect on my computer. It's just so, like, you know, Spider-Man's on here, normally $60, now $29.99. It Takes Two, Hades 2 is on sale for 10% off. It's a newer game. Dredge is half off. Okami is $5. Oh, I'm gonna buy that.
I bought
Civ
that one.
6
Yeah.
is Civ 6 is $2.99.
All right, let me shout out some big ones. Elden Ring 40% off. Baldur's Gate 20% off. Cyberpunk 2077 55% off. Black Ops 25% off. Space Marines 2 25% off. Hogwarts Legacy 75% off. So
yeah, $15.
There's infinite games. There's no reason to be bored this winter.
Yeah, holy crap, we're eating good. Like,
Christmas movie, Christmas game, Hogwarts Legacy. Get on it.
Yeah, it's a Christmas game.
Look at that, Dragon Age Veilguard, brand new game.
It's
$38.99. Normally $60.
That's
wow.
very EA.
Still
EA
not
does
gonna
that
buy
shit all the time.
Still not.
That's crazy. I cannot believe they already have that game on sale.
Gotta get them holiday sales up, bruh.
Dude, this one's hilarious. Suicide Squad, normally $70, $3.50.
It's almost worth trying for $3.
It's because they're going to kill it. It's a dead game. Okay, well, thank you for shouting that out. Helldivers, Elden Ring, Space Marine 2.
I said
God of War.
Already.
Oh, you did. Yeah. Well, I'm just getting excited. All right, so now let's hear from you. It's time to Ask Pixelated Realms, where we answer your questions and read your comments. This is going to be a holiday special. If you would like to join our conversation, head over to pixelatedrealms.org/ask, and let's dive into what you've been curious about. Now, Emily, my wife, wrote in like a ton of questions, so because I asked her to, but Ralph also answered a few. So we're going to spend the rest of the episode just talking about our questions, and they're all holiday themed, which is awesome. So we really appreciate that. All right. Start with number 1. So from Alex's hot wife, Emily, and that's a quote. She sure wrote that in. That gives you kind of an understanding of my wife's character.
No lack of confidence.
Yeah. Over the years as gamers, we all get games and consoles for the holidays. What is your most memorable Christmas gaming gift you've ever received? And I would bet money that Tyler and I's are probably the same.
Yeah. Dustin, go ahead.
Definitely Nintendo 64. And this is memorable for me because my parents would wrap all the presents and they had them all in my mom's bathroom, like in the master bedroom. And it's all these boxes. And, so usually like parents will hide the gifts, but my mom like hid them in plain sight. So she just wrapped our Santa gifts and I didn't know. So like, we have family coming over like Christmas Eve because it's my cousin's birthday. And there's a box in the bathroom like a week earlier. I was like, Mom, whose is this? Like, oh, that's your grandma Irene's gift. And I was like, oh, okay. So everyone comes over and we're all opening, our exchanging gifts. And I was like, wait, grandma's gift isn't out here. So like I run back there and I grab this box and I start bringing it out. And my mom's like, no, that's leave it back there. And I was like, okay. I was confused. And then like the next morning I woke up and it was my N64. And I was like, I get it now.
That is awesome.
So, because I think like I already knew like Santa wasn't a real thing by then. Like when did N64 drop?
Were you like 8 or 9 or something?
Let's see. N64 release date was 96. So I was 10. Yeah, I just turned 10. So yeah, I think I had known by then.
Wow, we really didn't get an N64 for quite a few years after 96. That's crazy. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, that's probably my most memorable one. And so my other one, not a console, but I got my first Pokemon game. It was Pokemon Yellow. I didn't get Red or Blue. I wanted Yellow. So I got Yellow and like woke up that morning and I'm playing it. We get up at like 6 a.m. on Christmas. Like we used to go
I was
super
up at 4
early.
a.m. I was trying to hunt Santa.
Yeah, like seriously, like we were up like just super fucking early. And then so I'm playing, from like 5 or whatever in the morning and I can't beat Brock. It's that fucking Pikachu. So I started
Because
to
of the
not
electric type.
It was
fucking
really
beat
hard.
Brock,
It was really
dude. I'm
hard.
like struggling. And so I just think everybody wakes up early. So I know these two kids at the end of my street who have Pokemon, and so I literally ride down to this dude's house at like 7:45 a.m.
That's
and
so funny.
knock on his door. I was like, bro, I need you to trade me a water Pokemon because I can't beat Brock. And like, he's like just waking up. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like, I need a water Pokemon, dude.
It's emergency.
It's an emergency, man.
And he totally rejected me because he couldn't believe I came to his house at like 7:45 on Christmas morning. And I was like, I don't know, haven't you guys been up like 3 hours? And he's like, no, we all just woke up. And I'm like, that's weird. Okay, I'm sorry. And he left. So those are my two big video game Christmas morning memories.
That's so funny.
All right. I also have two, but I'm sure one of them is Alex's too. So you go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say, so imagine the year is 1998. I'm 8 years old. Tyler's like 5 or 6. And we wake up in the morning and we open up all our presents. And then my parents go, oh, there's one more behind the tree. And we're like, oh, what is it? And we open it up and it's a Game Boy Color. And then I get Pokemon Red and Tyler gets Pokemon Blue. And I just remember like, that was just like huge, especially in the era where we didn't have Amazon. Pokemon games and the Game Boy Color you had to go and get it. And a lot of the times they were sold out in your like local area because it released in like September or October. And then, so everybody wanted it for December. So you only had like a couple months time frame. And so everywhere was sold out. It was like impossible to get. And I think our parents were like, guys, I'm sorry, but we weren't able to find one or something like the day before, like totally trolling us. And they're like, you can't find it.
To do that.
Yeah, and they were like, it's just too hard to get. And then the next day it was like, bam, there it is.
So just one Game Boy for you guys to share, though?
No, we both had our own.
We both got them. Yeah, I got the purple.
I was like, that's brutal. That's fucking brutal.
No. We didn't get along well enough for that to happen.
Yeah.
We
would have been like,
though, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you think about like those rare, like the gift of the season, right? Every Christmas. Like, I still remember Tickle Me Fucking Elmo, dude. Like, I was too old for that, but like, I remember like seeing on the news and like, Tickle Me Elmo, Tickle Me, impossible to find. It's the toy of the year. Like, and I even like non-Christmas time when GoldenEye came out on N64. That thing was so fucking hard to find, dude. We finally found one at a Sears when those existed. And like, I was calling like every fucking store in our area, like, hey, do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Finally got Sears and they had it. And I was like, can you please put it on hold? Like, parents, like my mom jumped right in the car with me and like drove down, got it. But dude, it was like a mission to find stuff before online shopping.
Yeah.
We young kids will never know the struggle.
I know. We got our Game Boys because the Pokemon was the one they tricked us into thinking they didn't get, but the Game Boys we had bought with them at like a Macy's because they're like, we called and they're like, we have one. And they did the same thing. They're like, hold it. We went and picked it up and they're like, you can't have it until, or something like that.
Well, I was about to say, you remember it slightly altered, but it's fine.
I want to know you know what? I'm totally, my memory is
still probably
awful.
Santa. He was probably still,
no, I have a better memory of this than Alex did.
Yeah, actually, I want to know the truth because that's just what I remember, and I knew it wasn't going to be right.
It's just funny because I'm 3 years younger than him. So they took us to Macy's around Christmas time to buy us the Game Boys and our first versions, and we decided our colors then. So I picked blue, you picked red. Excuse me. And then it was that following Christmas that they surprised us with the other versions of the game because I wanted red still and you wanted blue still.
Was that what it was? Okay.
I don't know if it was like, I think it was the next Christmas after that, they got us both yellow version.
Yeah, we got yellow as well.
Because yellow came out in
I'm
October
mixing
99.
my memories together.
Yeah. But I will say I have a slightly, like, that, of course, that is a core memory of mine, like having a Game Boy box and a blue version in my hand. But the other one is a big shout out to my dad on this one. This was 100% him.
This is my my original, the original red version. My Game Boy's somewhere too, but yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So I would say my most significant gaming memory, I mean, obviously getting like consoles is a huge one, but this was easily the most significant gaming purchase ever made for me. And this shout out to my dad. It was for various reasons, it was a tough year for us and our family. We didn't think we were going to have really money for gifts. So my dad was just kind of like, told us that and was just like, hey, this year's going to be pretty lean. And we were understanding. And we woke up that morning. And for context, we had been begging my dad for computers for ourselves. We needed computers. We were like 11 and 14 and like gaming was really picking up and I didn't want to like use my dad's computer to game.
We only had one computer in the whole house.
Yeah. And so we woke up and we were just expecting like, some good gifts, but not anything special. And I remember opening up an iPod Nano or whatever, like one of the, the original iPods. And I was like, holy shit, this is the craziest Christmas ever. Like, this is great. Nothing could beat this. And then my dad was like, well, you guys both still have a gift. And I'm like, what? And they were literally, Alex and I opened up 2 brand new Alienware laptops that ended up being what I played World of Warcraft on. And it's funny because I ran that laptop into the ground. Like it overheated to death. But like the point being is I put in tens of thousands of hours of WoW on that computer and it really jumped off my PC playing for the rest of my life. And it was the biggest surprise ever. So shout out to my dad for making that happen.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I remember that. Yeah, I mean, and that was during the time too before Alienware was bought by Dell. So that was like when they were
the top tier. Yeah.
They were the best and stuff. And yeah, you're right. Like, totally surprised us. Dad definitely stretched himself to do that for us, and it was really awesome.
Thanks, Dad.
Cool. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the next question, but it's hard to top that one. That's a really good question. Okay.
Thank God
so
for your
again,
hot wife.
Yeah, again from Alex's hot wife Emily, as quote unquote. What's your favorite cozy game that feels just right to play during the holidays? Good question. I would almost say we answered this a little bit with Star Wars Outlaws. I think Star Wars Outlaws is a good one. But
yeah, I think single-player games sit well for like cozy, like something you can just kind of play leisurely. It's not like overly frustrating. For me, like when you mentioned this earlier, I think like Zelda games kind of come to mind for me. I think those are like a good game just to like space out and play for like, a couple weeks, get through it. Has a little bit of frustration, but for the most part, the exploration and the combat, just, Zelda for me is like top tier games in general. I'd say like from like a family perspective, I remember playing Mario Kart with my family, like as a kid, like on like over the holidays, just like racing my dad on like on the ghost tracks and stuff. It was like another like core gaming memory for me. So yeah, I'd say like a Mario Kart would be tons of fun for like family fun, like cozy family fun, and then like a Zelda game for sure if I was just gonna like space out on my own.
That's a good one.
I'd go with, when it comes to family games, or not even family games, we're just talking about cozy games, but I'm gonna loop them together because to me a cozy game is any game I'm into. Like anything I'm into is gonna feel relaxing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like Wii Sports or Nintendo Switch Sports. Those kind of games where they're like highly interactive. You can get anyone from a 2-year-old to a 200-year-old to play them with you. So yeah, I like those games because they're super fun, easy to pick up, and everyone can participate.
Yeah, I think my official one. I'm gonna say Star Wars Outlaws, but I also think Astrobot. So game of the year this year. Fun game, family game, platformer, low stress, high fun, kind of a game. And I think that'd be my number one pick. Oh, cool. All right. Thanks for writing in, honey. The next one from Stowaway Elf, which is definitely also Emily. Group video games that you recommend to play with your family when you're together for the holidays.
Oh, all right. My previous answer, I moved back over to here. Nintendo Sports.
Yeah. That's a good one. I think some good ones are like Jackbox. If you haven't heard of that, that's a fun family game. It Takes Two, amazing game. Overcooked, if you really want to get intense.
Ooh, Overcooked is good, but that can get frustrating.
That's such a good game though, because it's such a simple game, and the only fact that it gets frustrating is from like interpersonal communication issues. The game itself is not frustrating. It's like
wash the fucking dishes.
Stop giving me tomatoes. I don't need any goddamn tomatoes. Yeah.
We did Overcooked as like team building at work a couple times.
Oh my gosh.
So that's pretty hardcore.
And the team broke up.
Yeah, people quit.
Wait.
Some are fired.
You bring me one more tomato and you're not going to have a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, that one, Mario Kart, obviously the best. Mario Party, they just released a new Mario Party. Any Nintendo game, honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of their specialty for sure.
Except Mega Man series. Going back,
That's Capcom.
But it's still like you play that. It's mostly Nintendo based though, right?
You can play it on the PlayStation and stuff. But that's
totally
a good one.
It's their Capcom IP.
Well, I know it's not a Nintendo IP. I was just thinking more so like a game I remember growing up playing on Nintendo.
Right.
Like the Mega Man 10s and stuff like that. And like
Mega Man X,
super fresh. Yeah. That game's super frustrating.
I'm giving you crap because Mega Man X is literally like one of my favorite games of all time.
I loved it growing up. I went back and they came out with like the remaster or whatever series, like maybe like 3-5 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to play some Mega Man. I love this shit. And I was like, yeah, fuck this game. Like one level, I was like, no, fuck this. I do not have the patience to do this shit anymore.
It's funny because if you know, you can beat it in like a couple hours.
A couple hours? No. It like less than an hour. At one point, I could beat it in like 45 to 50 minutes but that's the thing is it's one of those games like Super Metroid or any like game that the more knowledge you have about these secrets, you have a slight advantage, right? So like in Mega Man X, like I know where every single upgrade is, like just off the top of my head. So like I'm going to be more powerful than someone who doesn't know, So yeah. But you know what's really funny? Like as much as I would say I'm an expert in Mega Man X, and I pretty much am, Mega Man X2, honestly, I haven't even beat it. It's like they're so different, and the difficulties are so different.
Oh, really?
Are like different. Specifically in Mega Man X2, there's this stupid ostrich boss, and you're fighting this ostrich boss, and there's no walls, so you can't jump away from him. So you have to. It's just really difficult. Either way,
that's
Mega
funny.
Man X2, super hard.
And by the way, there is also a Mega Man 10. That is a different game.
Oh, okay. Mega Man Classic 10. Yeah, the Mega Man. Classic.
I think I'm X. So
yeah,
I think you meant X.
X is the best one. Not a family game though.
Not
what game?
It's the Legacy Collection. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I actually have Mega Man X on my phone. I play it all the time. I love it. What game or gaming related thing do you hope Santa brought you this year? Ooh, this is a good one. So what are the hot ticket items for this year? So, I mean, for me, as being a grown-ass adult who getting things for Christmas has usually been paid for with my own credit card. The games that I want to get that I haven't bought yet are like Silent Hill 2. I want that one. I want Dragon Age Veilguard. There's another game I bought, which Emily actually bought me.
I was about to say, I think I added that to my Christmas list. Astrobot.
Yeah. There's another one. There's another game I'm missing. I don't know. A lot of the games that I want now is because I buy the games that I want are actually like pre-orders for games. Like I want to get Monster Hunter Wilds, the new Metal Gear Delta, which is the remake of 2, 3. I forget which one coming out. A couple things there. I gotta pull up my Amazon wish list. I don't know. What do you guys think? What is your big ticket item?
I already got mine because since we're going to China tomorrow, shit.
Wow.
Tomorrow, wow.
We land in China on the 25th at like 7 a.m. So we did presents yesterday. Like not Santa, like my parents are gonna come over and do like set up the Santa gifts and stockings. So when we walk back in from vacation, we'll have that. But everything else we opened yesterday. All our family's over right now. So we did a big gift exchange this morning. So I already got mine. And so I'll talk about this later. But
Near Automata model.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, Flare, a company, came out with a really dope 2B from Nier Automata figurine, and I really wanted it. It's official Square Enix, and it was like $250, something like that. And I pre-ordered it the second it came out. So I seen it at Comic-Con, and then I was like, shit. It took like a year for it to go on pre-order from there. Like they didn't have an announcement, so I was like had bookmarks on some different forums and all this shit, and it finally came on pre-order, and then I bought it, and then I ended up canceling the pre-order because this was before I kind of got back into collecting statues and stuff, and I've always wanted it. That we were at the mall in Temecula, and I was walking by this store, and they had it on special for $120.
Wow!
And they also had, if you follow them on Instagram, you get 10% extra off. So I ended up getting it for like $112 after tax, and I was like, that's just too good to not buy. Like I've wanted this thing for like 3 fucking years, maybe even longer. And so, yeah, picked it up. And I'll tell you guys all about when I'm going to show it off to you. And next on in a future question here we have coming up.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think I have much of anything like I have a little like board game requests this year and some PC parts. But yeah, I don't like I'll be happy with Astrobot would be great just because now my interest has been thoroughly piqued with that. Yeah, no. If a 30th anniversary controller wanted to make its way into my hands, that'd be awesome, but I wouldn't expect that. But yeah.
I do have an Astrobot controller sitting in my closet for cool. Arthur for his birthday. His birthday's January 24th, awesome. So I held that one back. And I'm going to give it to him for his birthday.
That's great.
That's nice. Yeah. This is the PlayStation Pro Move Any Needles for anybody. Because if you're a performance hound or you don't already own a PlayStation and you want one, the PS Pro came out this year. So that's something that could be on people's lists. That's the kind of the console. Though I think next year is really going to be the big year, right? Because next year, GTA
Switch 2 maybe?
Switch 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed
not
Shadows.
A lot of consoles this year. I'm trying to think. Some interesting ones. Whoa, God, I'm losing it. I would say, like, if you're shopping still, I mean, by now you're already too late. But
yeah,
the PlayStation Portal, if you're a Sony person, or the Pocket Analog, which is like the Game Boy emulation, if you have a retro enthusiast in your house. Trying to think of looking around at like.
Also, you already got that, wonderful. Right? You already got that for yourself for
He's
Christmas,
already got it,
right?
Yeah.
You got the Portal.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoy him very much. All right, next question from Santa's Side Elf. God, it's Emily. Which is better, video games or board games on Christmas? So we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, but I think it kind of is like I think it depends. So
depends on the day.
It can be either
time of day. I think waking up, opening presents, and then like popping on like Mario Kart or something, totally the way to go.
Yeah.
I think once you get into the evening, like post dinner, you like getting a board game out and playing like a board game would be a lot of fun. So like I think it depends like the scenario and time of day on when I would prefer. But yeah, I think early in the day, video games, the house is still messy with the wrapping paper and shit. But then later on, like kind of ending the evening on a calm, like chill board game. It could be fun.
Yeah. That answer is so good. I don't think I'm going to expand on it.
I was about to say, I honestly have nothing to expand on. That was perfect.
Yeah, that was it. That's the only answer. I'm going to answer Ralph's in reverse. So his first one was, have you ever received a video game console for Christmas? What was it, or what would you wish you got for Christmas if you hadn't? We did talk about that a little bit with Emily's question. I'm trying to remember though. Did we get the N64 for Christmas? Was that a Christmas thing? Or was that a birthday?
I think it was a Christmas thing, if I remember, but it wasn't in '96 or whatever the heck. Because I would have been. It was in California, so it would have. What it would have been, no matter what, it would have been after '97, because we had to have lived in California. I specifically remember us having our Nintendo 64 in the Nelson house, so that would have been like '98 or '99.
Yeah, September 29th, '96. I was like, was I wrong on my release date? But no.
Well, let me see. So 97, we lived in the apartment. And then I think in the same year, or maybe early 98, we moved to Nelson. So I don't know. I'd be interested to ask Dad when we got that, because I don't remember. My memory is not very good, if you haven't noticed.
What was after 64? GameCube.
Oh, the GameCube.
Yeah, when did GameCube come out? 2001, September 14, 2001.
Yeah, we had a game. Well, because we had, let me see, we had a Sega Genesis for a while. That's what Dad had, because he owned that.
You're right. I do remember the Sega at the Nelson house.
I don't know whatever happened to that. We also had, I don't know if you remember this, we had an Atari and a Commodore in Michigan when we were little.
Yeah.
You might have been too young.
No, because we had the light guns. I remember the light gun.
That was the Super Nintendo at Grandma's house.
Yeah. No, but we took it. She would like give it to us or something, because I remember using the light gun in the basement of the Ann Arbor house.
Probably. Yeah.
Anyway,
probably.
Too esoteric for everyone, but we're
anyways.
Going through our...
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of already answered the rest of this, but okay. So I'm going to answer. So now for the final question from Ralph, as we near the end of 2024, what is next for Pixelated Realms Podcast? What can we expect in 2025? Ralph, this is such a goddamn good question.
OnlyFans.
It's like, OnlyFans, the feed finder. Yeah, this is such a good question. I wouldn't have even thought to say this, but this is perfect way to cap the end of the year. So we talked about this a little bit beforehand. And so what we want to do in the upcoming year is, one, we're going to continue with the podcast every week, as we've been doing. And we've been growing a lot this year. This year, we've seen the most growth we've ever had, which is absolutely amazing. We thank you all for it. And we want to expand our catalog a little bit. So a couple of things. We want to stream more. So you can find us on YouTube at Pixelated Realms, as well as Twitch, which is at Pixelated Realms. And we will probably at some point put together a schedule. But for now, we are just kind of ad hoc streaming. So catch us streaming then, as well as
set notifications on our channel so you know when we go live.
Exactly. Yeah. It's literally going to be a surprise stream. You got to catch it when it's hot.
Yeah, click the bell, right? Or whatever they say. So that, and then we're also going to try some new content types. So Dustin, you want to talk about your thing?
Yeah, so the first one that I think we're going to do is going to be something called the merch shop, which is where me, Alex, or Tyler, maybe sometimes together, but probably this might be solo episodes because we'll be showing off different things. But we're going to be showing you guys different physical product that we've got. So that could be like Alex unboxing his PlayStation Portal and kind of like walking you through it, you know, whatever he gets next, because he's already opened that one. My Nier 2B statue, I think that's going to be the first episode when I get back from China. So I'll be doing an unboxing of that, letting you guys kind of see what that looks like, how, you know, my thoughts on it. But yeah, really just like an opportunity for us to like kind of like break down things that we're receiving. So it could be collector's editions, it could be hardware items like new mouse, keyboard, it could be figurines, and that's not just gaming. It might be like some of our, you know, we talk about anime every once in a while. So maybe it's an anime figure. So yeah, just kind of anything that we think you guys will think is cool.
Yeah, we're really excited, and you know, I think that's going to be really fun. So prepare for some new content. That probably won't be the only one, but it's definitely going to be the first. Well, God, I was going to say something. I totally just like lost my train of thought.
And I'll cap us off here with, you know, as Alex said, we developed a lot this year. There's a lot of really exciting things coming down the pipeline. But that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you guys. We have some really active members of the community, and we want many more. So please, 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 please comment. Send us notifications any way you can. Instagram, whatever platforms we are on, all of the above. Please let us know what you're interested in seeing, and we will prioritize making that content because we want to continue to grow and engage you.
Yeah, we want to know what you want hear about, and what you like and what you don't like. And I do remember what I was going to say. We are kind of working on a merch shop as well, so look forward to that in the coming future. And if you want updates on all of this, don't forget to go to Patreon. That's where we will first announce any of this. So our new episodes, our schedules, any streaming schedules that we have, links that we have, we'll go to pixelatedrealms.org/Patreon. And all right. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate your time. Have a great holiday. Tomorrow is Christmas, and we all hope you have a great time. We'll see you in the new year.
Happy holidays, everyone.